I'd like to welcome everyone to our Keystone Heights Heritage Commission monthly meeting. It is April 19th, 2022. The first thing is roll call. So we have Carrie, we have Helen, we have Deidre, and we have Christine. So thank you all for being here. Let's start out with our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I did email you all the minutes for the March meeting. Everybody able to read those minutes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
So do we have a,
I'll make a motion that we approve the March minutes.
okay,
I'll second.
okay.
All
And a vote? I guess we got a
Yeah.
vote also?
yeah.
Aye. I got to get these little, you know.
No worries.
Okay. So going to old business, we still have to second to approve those minutes. So anybody a second to approve those minutes for February? Christine caught that on our details. Second it?
I'll second.
Okay. And verbal vote, yes. I think we're all good, right?
Aye.
Okay. And we had to also do a verbal vote to approve the walking tour. I think we did the other steps, but we didn't vote to approve. Yes?
Aye.
Yes? Okay. So I did go by and see Todd and Debbie at the Welcome Center after the meeting. I gathered up a couple of things out front. And it looks like they're packed and loaded okay with materials currently for anyone who comes to the Welcome Center asking for information. You know, we have brochures out front too, but then they have several out, and they have a really nice setup in their lobby right there for folks who want to stop by. So I did complete that. And I've been, you know, attending the monthly council meetings, so I'm just waiting to hear when the next finance budget type meeting is going to be held, so I can attend that meeting for the city and request for more funds for 2023. There's not a date yet for that, is there, Steve?
You have to ask me, and I don't. I'm
Okay.
not-
Okay. I would like to also welcome our associate members, Mary Lou and Kathy. Thank you for being here. And this is Steve Hart. Steve's one of our councilmen, but he was also liaison to our commission. Okay. Plaque applications. It is amazing. We have two. It's not even first quarter, barely Q1 2022, and two plaque applications.
That's great.
I know, it's amazing. First of all, we had conversation about Eddie Arnold's home, and most everyone voted. I think, Carrie, you're the only one I needed the vote from on the scoring. But the question came up, Christine mentioned it, about it being called the Bryant home versus Pangborn home. And I know, Steve, we talked a little bit, and I saw it at the council meeting.
I think that's fact dependent. If the builder actually lived there for a while, probably the name of the builder. If the builder didn't.
He lived there until he passed away.
Okay.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we need to call it the Bryant home?
I would think so.
Okay.
Be consistent.
Okay, that's fine with me. Okay, so we're going to circle the Bryant home, and that's what we will have put on the plaque. So we need to second that request,
I'll second.
okay? And vote to approve it. It becomes the Bryant home. Carrie? Helen?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. Done. And I have Eddie's money. I have cash, actually, Christina, so I'll give you that so I can get a receipt to give to him. And then let's see, send this down to Carrie. Pass that down to Carrie for me. Thank you, babe.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Mr. Hatch submitted his, and I did attach his application for the for us to vote on. Was everyone able to go by and see his home? The Hatch Realty.
Pangborn apartment buildings.
Yes,
It's Hatch Realty.
Hatch Realty now. Yeah.
So is it going to be just the Pangborn, because that was originally an apartment building?
No, originally it used to be a building supply place.
It's been everything.
Well,
Has
it's
it been-
like in
It was a sandwich
the
shop.
original floor plans, that building and then the birdhouse was originally built to be apartments, but then they changed their mind and turned it into a home. And I read in some of the early interviews, it was referred to as the Penguin apartment buildings.
I'm looking at his submission, because he went to Clay County, and he has a lot of this I did not send on the email because it's so big. But he talks about the property, and he said it was, let's see, he got this from the Clay County Archives. Four square house, built 1926 for Donald Irwin Pamborn, son of Clyde. And he had his own lumber business, apparently at that time. He sold the home in 47, so he's calling it a home here based on that information. But, and then
I'll try to find.
there have been 6 owners.
I'll try to find the interviews that I had. when
Okay.
It was referred to as, it was kind of tourist apartments.
Oh,
I know he lived there
Mhm.
for a while,
thank you.
until Mr. Bryant died, and he purchased that home.
Um,
And a lot of my information was just talking to Mr. Watson, Huntley Redford, and then also we had an awful lot of information in the Telegraph in their archives. And early interviews that reporters had done with people here, like Maud Ogden, with the library. And I just picked up a lot of, and I have a file, I just got a lot of my old files back. I was going through those yesterday.
Will it help you to have this to kind of compare it to?
Yes.
He's got a lot of detail in here on it, with the building alterations. Just like you said, it said that it was a florist, nursery, hair salon, restaurant, and several different professional businesses. But this is the
And
research
it
that
was an
he,
apartment upstairs too. for
Yes.
years.
and he's, so this is just, I mean, he did a pretty extensive research on this, I thought. So let me leave that with you to take a look at.
Okay.
So we, again, so we're kind of at the point of now, what do we call it, right? I think we all agree that we
Well,
should
definitely
approve it for a
Penguin,
plaque.
Yeah.
It's definitely, so we call it the Pamborn
Yes,
House, but we don't know if it's
right.
gonna be a house or if it's gonna be called something else.
I don't think it really matters.
Doesn't matter? So we want to call it the
Yeah.
Pamborn? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
you just
fine.
call it the- I mean, it's just a little piece of trivia. That
Right.
was, you know.
And it's good to know that little bit of trivia, I think. There we go. So if you guys will score for me, and then we can get the ball rolling. He's already given me a check for the, here. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to. A check for the, to move forward.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see the Hatch packet. I saw the Arnold packet, but I didn't see the.
I sent two, here, I can give it to you.
Well, I just printed I'll get off the last emails,
Yeah.
but there was probably a previous.
There was, I only did a couple of the pages because I didn't want to do all this. So I did like the most important ones to read. I think a picture of it and these two, and that was it on the
Okay.
email.
Can I
If you
look
want to
at
look at,
that?
sure,
Yeah, I don't mind.
absolutely. He did a really nice job on the submission, I thought. Okay, let's see, get back to my. Thank you.
While you're all doing that, can I bring something up?
Sure.
I'm looking at these brochures that we have over in the Beals place, and it spells Keystone wrong. Like, seriously, we need to have that corrected.
Oh,
So, if you could catch that, Christine. And this is in the Cornerstone and Lake region, this brochure. Okay, thank you. This.
that's pretty wild.
Yeah, we should probably have our names.
Thank you.
He's done a wonderful job with that.
Oh, my goodness, and it
Yeah.
looks so nice.
Oh,
He's a
especially
real,
at
he's
Christmas.
such a nice, such a nice guy.
Amazing. Restoring.
Pretty good job, huh, Carrie, on that?
Yeah, very nice.
I love it. I wish we had that on each one of them. Something similar, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That we can look at, or that we can have access to, you know? I think it'd be nice to put that together.
Yeah, it's very nice. And today.
All done, Mrs. Helen? Thank you, dear. Okay. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay, so do we want to do our voting to approve the hatch submission for the plaque? Yeah,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the Hatch's application for a plaque.
okay.
I'll second it.
Vote?
Aye.
Aye. Great. We are going to plan to add them to the walking tour. All the most recently plaqued homes will be added to the walking tour.
Great.
I think they deserve that with the efforts that they make. So moving along here, we have resignations from the board from Cheryl and from Rob. You know, they don't have time right now to do this. And I do have the response from them if you all want to read what they came back to me in the email. So it did make me think about, you know, 5 versus 7 members. And I think that having 5 is plenty, personally. Do you all have any input on that or your feelings about that?
I think that it helps us with getting a quorum, you know, because nothing moves forward if we don't have a quorum, and we can't really skip months because then nothing gets done.
Right.
Can I speak to that?
Sure.
The original resolution provided a finite number of 7. In 2014, council did a resolution changing it. So you have to have a minimum of 4 and not more than 7. So whatever you guys decide is what's going to be. You
So we don't have to redo the bylaws,
Yeah,
which is what I thought, which is wonderful.
And that was, the reason we did it that way, Deidre, was because of quorum issues.
That makes it a lot easier than have to think we got to wait for 90 days to get it reworked.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was pretty happy he was telling me about that this morning.
Nice.
So are you all vote and approve that you think that's a good number?
I think that, my personal opinion is, I think it's okay. I mean, obviously, when you have 7, you get a lot of different viewpoints, and you know, you have a lot of information that can come in, but then you face the issues like Deidre mentioned about getting a form.
Right.
So, I mean, I think like any decision, you know, it has its advantages and disadvantages, and you just have to weigh those to determine what's best, you know, moving
Yeah.
forward.
And based on what Steve just said, we really have a lot of flexibility, because if we did find a candidate who wanted to join the board, then we can put them on without changing the bylaws.
You don't have to change
So,
them, and then
right.
you also have a rulemaking power in a separate part of the bylaws to adopt rules of procedure. This would be procedural, I think. That's substantive.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So when you talk about, we have a rulemaking process that we can adopt. So would one of those be that, if a member wasn't here in person, that they could attend by Zoom?
You would have to comply with state law, and you would have to have at least a quorum here in the room.
Right.
And I think a member could apply Zoom without one.
Okay,
As long as you got 3 here.
yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Because I even talked about, because I think when I asked you about it too, Christine, and I think Lynn came back to me as well, something about being set up to do Zoom in this room. I didn't know if we were or not.
Well, I mean, we went through a whole pandemic and they.
I know, that's what I
we did
thought.
Zoom meetings.
Well,
Everybody does Zoom.
Well, we were all participating with Zoom at home.
Yeah.
But we, okay, so, but even if you couldn't do it via Zoom, you could do it via
Phone.
phone.
Just phone
Right.
with the microphone.
Just call in,
Yeah.
yep, call in my phone number, and we just put you on conference,
Yeah,
and you're just in front of the agenda, and we go through the whole thing.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. that
We
works.
have to be able to do that.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
the
you got,
flex-
what, 4 of us here, at least 3 of us that travel.
Well, and if we go to 5, then we just need 3 for quorum, and then if
That-
like, say you were in the car or something like that, you could call in. you
Yeah.
know, and whatnot.
Right.
Council did that recently, I don't recall. I might have been Tony who was absent
Yeah,
and phoned in. It did work.
Yeah,
okay,
is it, yeah, okay, all right, I'm okay with it.
okay, so, want to make a motion to second it, somebody? That we're going to go to 5 members instead of, right now, we're good with that? Okay. And I guess approve and vote, right? We're all good with it, right? The thing that I know is we have, especially with Mary Lou and Kathy here, and then also I know Debbie Beals, and then any others. I have several other ladies that have told me, expressed they wanted to be involved in things we're doing. They just can't be here like at 10 o'clock sometimes. Their input to me is just as valuable as what ours is because of their experience and knowledge. So I welcome all of that. And I think that makes us much fuller as a group. And just hearing from the outside that things we may not even be thinking about, you know. I mean, even some of these folks that we approached on the walking around the other day, I could see them wanting to come in and be associate members maybe and giving us input. And I could just sense the need, like, help, you know, we'd like to know more or whatever. So,
Who do we go to? What do we say? What do we do? How do
exactly.
we get more info?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did we come up with a form for associate members, or is that something?
I've never seen one, and I've drafted most of the forms.
I have a form. I created one.
You
Okay.
did?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And and you have rulemaking power to do it that way, so.
Mhm. I have a copy of it, and I can email it to you, Carrie, if you want it.
Well,
But-
yeah, I just think that, that
Because
would
they've
be
already
great.
filled it out for me.
And as we come across other people, if we all have the form.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We can get, if you're walking in the neighborhood, you give them the form if they're interested, you know.
I think I'd emailed it to y'all once, but I'll do it again.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
So
that.
the associate member form. Yes, because there wasn't one, and I just created one.
And that doesn't require council action. You can do associates to your heart's content.
Yep.
without council being involved.
And the other thing I've been doing is, if you notice on the email that I sent out Friday, it includes these folks on the email list. Like I'm copying them on our meeting with the agenda and the minutes, so they're kept up to date on what's going on, even if they can't be here. Like Debbie just texted me, I haven't read it yet, but something must have come up, she couldn't be here. So, thank you guys for being here. You have no idea how much matters to
The
us.
public needs to be actively involved. This is their community.
Yep.
And the only real difference is all your input, everything is just that, you know, this is the body that votes. That's it. That's really the only difference. I mean, because we want the input from the community.
Absolutely.
You know?
Nina, do you happen to have a copy of the form here?
I do. I think I do. I even made me a form folder now. Because I could not find stuff. It was driving me nuts. Gotta get me a bigger binder here. Let's see. I think I have one that's blank. There you go.
I just wanted to.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, very.
Okay. Walking right along here. Let's see here. So, now I'm going to turn it over to Deidre because she has lots to talk about. With your meeting, with your walking tour coming up.
The biggest thing for the walking tour right now, we have everything in place, pretty much. We've got a banner being made, we have these tour signs being made. This was the least expensive way of going versus, you know, real wood and a sandwich board type scenario, which, you know, would be very nice, but right now, with the price of wood and everything, and to have someone do it, it's just cost prohibitive. And so we need 21 of these for our tour of homes on the 7th over at the pavilion. And this will be out in front of each home. And we need volunteers to help put these out on Friday night. That would be greatly appreciated. Christine made a great idea. She said that maybe we should get somebody from the high school that wants to get, volunteer hours. They can help us with putting these out. I mean, it's really just a matter of taking 5 and everybody just put 5 out, then it's easy work. We've got the roses ordered, and waters purchased, all of that kind of thing for the pavilion. I'm gonna be picking up the key on Friday night because the city hall is closed on Saturday. And so we wanna be sure we can get into the pavilion. That would be a disaster. And so we'll pick up the roses on Friday. Everything has already been invoiced to the city. So we're pretty much ready to go. We just need volunteers that can help us.
What kind of things are the volunteers gonna do?
Well, that's a very good question.
We haven't done this really before, so we're all
Well,
learning along the way.
I'm assuming that, and let me show you what I'm handing out to the businesses. Not sure if you got one of these last time. We're gonna go to all the businesses. We've actually touched base with the homes that are actually on the tour. So the 21 that are on the tour, Nina and I last, what was it?
Saturday.
It was Saturday. I don't even know the days anymore. On Saturday, we walked around, talked to the homeowners and said, by the way, your home's gonna be on this tour. You don't need to do anything. It's just a walking tour. People will be out and about, but we wanted you to know about it so that you can get your yard blown off or mow your lawn or whatever you feel is necessary. And then we told them that we would be putting up one of these signs in front of their home, and the number then would coordinate with what's on the pamphlet. So people will be getting, when they go to the pavilion, a brochure, basically, a 6-panel, of the homes on the tour. And for purposes of time, because again, we just did this and then come to find out there's, an additional 5 homes.
5 homes.
So we're gonna just do a quick insert, a sleeve insert with the 5 homes on
That's
it
the ones that newly
that
applied.
are new. So we can keep this.
I
Yeah,
have the actual publisher version of that in my computer. Christina has it. She's going to be getting a computer so she can revise that and what clean.
if she
That
can
was the
do
one
it,
Stephanie Van Zandt did originally.
right. However, in talking with Christina the other day, the girl has a workload here.
Well, it's 98% done.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, and
Um,
I talked to Lynn about that this morning,
okay.
so we're good.
okay.
Do we
Well,
have-
I did
yeah.
have a conversation with Lynn and Christina, and in response to you, Steve, is that, I wanted to have a better way of communicating with not just the council, but with, the city itself. And so we're not piling on work, not realizing that they have 7 other projects that day.
Yeah.
Or we just don't know what their workload is.
Yeah.
And so I had that conversation.
And so did I, and that jogged my memory that I already had that in the computer, because I had played with it a little bit. You can change the dates, you can put in new panels, put in new pictures and the whole thing, if Christina has the time, that's the consideration.
Well, the bigger piece, of course, Christina's time, but then we only have barely 10 days to the event. So can we fit all, plus we need to get, we want the original pictures of the homes as they were during that time, the 5 ones that, we do have it from, I think from Hatch and at least from Eddie, but then, well, Eddie's original one, it's don't even look like now at all. So I don't know, we just got to get our hands on those 5 homes, originals pictures, in order to place in that brochure, and then it work into her schedule for her to be able to do it
If there's anything I can
prior
do,
to the time that's coming, events
anything
happening.
I can do in Photoshop to help with that, I will.
I'd say we want to have those
We just
before.
want to be sensitive to the rules and regulations of the town and how and who we approach with things. Because we want a clear direction. And,
Administratively, everything flows through the city manager, that's where we start.
right,
And then if the city manager wants to delegate it to somebody, and they think that there's staff time, that's a decision that they'll make.
Well, then we were just talking about this, I know you have a PDF of this, and, because Christina just sent it to me. However, we have 6 others to add, and Steve was saying that you all could get this done in time for us.
So we've just received the publisher, the document that it was originally created in. And so once Christine is able to open that, we're familiar with publisher. I think as was stated, we do need the original photos or the photos that you would like to have on that with the information, because that's something that we don't have from the city. Once you give us all that material, then we'll be able to coordinate and edit that document.
I don't know, do y'all think we can get the pictures of the other, I know of 2 of them we have, but
We
the other
have
3.
2. I'm not sure if we have
The other
old
3.
photos.
Old
of the
photos.
others.
We have a
can
current
take
picture.
Yeah, so those are really up to the Heritage Commission on what it is that you want to see within that document, and then once you give us all of that, we'll be able to plug it in and move that
I mean, we
document.
could, we could
Now
do
that
current
you're
for sure.
here, This other document, that's also something we want
Mm-hmm.
to hand out, and it is currently over at Ford Homes the Beals.
Yep.
Keystone is spelled incorrectly.
We'll correct that. So those are 2 of the materials that we're working on for this coming weekend as well. Like I said, as soon as we get from the Heritage Commission, and then while you're looking at it, we do encourage you, if there's any changes to the meeting times or things of that nature, to make those changes. And then get those over to us. That way we can change it in the original form. And then they'll be printed out on the larger pieces of paper so that you can read it. I know some of those are on the 8.5 by 11. It's a
This would
little
be a
small.
nice
That's
size.
very
Those are
nice.
going to be the sizes that they'll be on for our pedestrians as they come through and our visitors. And then especially for your event the day before Mother's Day. But
So we should just send you the additional photos?
yes, and the verbiage that you
and
want
the
to have
verbiage.
included.
We can get that to you in the next couple days.
Yeah, so those
Oh,
are
yeah.
the any
Well, if we can't
changes
get the
that you
old
want
one,
to
we'll
make.
use the current.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on.
Regarding the old pictures, if you look at Murray Lawyer report, she has a lot of pictures of the original homes. Also in my computer, I've got tons of pictures, so if you can let me know the addresses of the property, I'll still see if I can locate
Okay.
the pictures.
Yeah, we do have the
So-
addresses.
Yeah, we
Can I
got
just
that.
Email
Yep.
Just send me
Steve
an
the
email and I'll
addresses?
see what I can
Okay, for the 5 additional homes. Got it. I'll do that today.
Otherwise, you probably have to go with the current photograph.
Right. Which is pretty easy. We just swing by, get the picture, bam. But within the next 24 hours, I think we need to have the
Tell me
pictures
what you need,
together.
I've got a camera.
So you all have the time, you know, at
Yes,
your leisure,
please.
right? So, if not,
And then again, I strongly encourage while we are reviewing that document, just take a glance over if there's any changes or any corrections, any updates to any of the verbiage, please let us know and we'll be able to get that taken care of as well.
okay.
So everything else we've gotten completed, we're ready to go. We just need volunteers at this point.
Lynn, I
Us
don't know-
too.
I know.
I
So,
understand.
so Mary Lou and Kathy, this is Lynn Rotowski. She's our city manager. And these gals are volunteers and associate members with us. I don't know if y'all ever met Lynn.
Putting up a sign, I heard that.
Yeah.
I can help on Friday night
Right.
with the signs.
Huh?
I can help on Friday night with the signs for Saturday.
Saturday.
I don't know anything about it, this
Okay.
Keystone being
We need to start making a
here
list.
or other houses,
So, Helen,
questions would come to me, I'd be like,
Friday night.
So
You
that's all
can
I'm
direct
sure.
it,
Just
direct the
tell me
question
which
to
ones you
someone.
want me to put.
You
Okay.
can always hand them a brochure and say, hey, I'm new
Are you
to the
really?
community
Okay.
too. I'm
No worries.
just
It's
learning
okay.
like
I'm trying to get my
yourself,
granddaughter.
but Christina's here,
Trying to get my
Ruby's here,
daughter,
we can
too.
talk, Nina's here, they can tell you a little bit more about it.
So, excuse me, that's the morning of, when we're passing out.
This Saturday
And y'all
morning.
are gonna be there.
11
anyhow,
o'clock
So we're
to
just passing them out and have questions, they can send that y'all.
That was my concern.
So, like you said, so we just need somebody to help us, and I'm sure Dave's gonna have the golf cart. We'll take it around. You got your golf cart, buddy up together.
We're
And
riding together.
okay, so y'all are doing, and Helen said she can help with the signs Friday night.
And we can contact, do you have, Bobby Lipham's?
Yes, I do.
Him and Brandon.
We can ask, yeah, if he can.
Or, and Susie would get off when she gets off work, so we can ask.
Yeah.
They might be interested.
So I think it'll only take a couple of us to do the signs, really. Each person has maybe 5 homes or something like that. And then Saturday morning, though, I think she and I are gonna get down there around 9 o'clock. because we want to make sure the banner is in place and set up, you know. So we'll need a couple of people to make sure people find, correct me if I'm wrong, Deidre, on this, on Saturday, we're gonna get in there about 9, right, that morning?
Right.
So we're gonna be there to set the banner, which is gonna be kind of at the entry of the park, so people riding by will see it. And maybe we need somebody up there who says, oh, you need to go down to the pavilion to get the brochure and, right? And because people get there and go, I don't know where to go.
We might be making this up as we go along.
We are, we're just trying to figure out what works.
Exactly.
And, you know, and I know we're gonna have a huddle up meeting after to find out what didn't work, right?
You know?
My daughter will be in town, I'll probably tell her.
My
to just
daughter's gonna-
direct
well,
everybody down there.
So, you know, I think we're gonna need somebody that morning, you know, let's say our volunteers show up around 10, but you and I can certainly, if somebody wants to get there at 9, that's great. But people are there, I'm devoting from 9 until 2, whatever it takes for us to do it. But folks to hand out brochures as people walk up, hand them their rose, you know, just make sure they're feeling welcome. If there's any questions, you know, it maybe only take 3 or 4 people, I don't know, we just don't know yet. We don't know
Well,
what kind of crowd we're gonna get.
To Mary Lou's point, you know, it's like you really don't have to know a whole lot about the city to just be welcoming.
Yeah.
And let everyone else feel welcome and say that you're just learning too. I mean,
Okay.
there was a point when none of us up here knew anything.
Well, I just didn't want someone to, you know, expect something and I can't give it.
Yes.
So what time on Friday evening are we meeting to pass out signs?
Are you sure you want to do them Friday night? I worry about somebody walking off with one.
Let's do them Saturday morning,
I think,
okay? If we don't start this till 11, we can put them out at 9:30. I mean, there's only 12, I mean, if we divide them, you throw them into your golf cart, I mean, they're really
we
light.
got, Dave and I got 2 golf cars, so,
Yeah.
you know, I just worry somebody's going to take off with it or,
During the night?
yeah. I
We'll
mean,
do it Saturday.
Okay. So if you
And
do
then-
Friday.
yeah, so 9:30 for signs. Now, I know you said you have to work, so you're going to be able to do it Friday.
I don't have to work, but my daughter-in-law's got something for Mother's Day.
That's okay. It's okay.
So if we come
Don't worry
across
about it.
volunteers, tell them to show up at Keystone Beach at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Yeah, something like that, 9:30. And that way, whatever we need help with, divide and conquer, right?
I think it might be us.
Hmm?
It might just be us.
Oh, I
It's
think,
gonna be fun.
yeah,
Everything works out.
it does. I mean,
And nobody knows if we need.
exactly, and nobody knows because it's the first time.
It's the
They
first
don't
time
know
we're
what
doing
to
it like
expect
this.
either. So, you know,
Yeah.
exactly, there's no downside to it.
Seems like the story of my life, everything's just like, okay.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Well, and so, because what I'll do is I will send out, so I can send an email about the volunteers, specifically to our associate members. So we have 4 or 5 others that are not here, 3 or 4 others that are not here. And then I have other people who've told me they want to volunteer. So I will put their email together and I can send that out right before probably the Monday before, just so they don't forget. And we're looking for volunteers, be at the pavilion at 9 o'clock or 9:30 on Saturday morning. And see who shows up, right? At least I invited them, they see what's going on, you know, and they can stay as long as they can stay to help.
Right.
It's really just gonna be in the very beginning, so at the aftermath is when we're just cleaning up and trying to get everything kind of done, you know, I mean, I think for the most part, be early that morning and then it'll probably clear out.
And I told Harold Gilstrap that I was gonna send him a PDF of this and the tour sheet, just saying where we're meeting and whatnot, and he would send it out to all the business association members.
Oh, great.
So that's gonna go out this week. And people at the county level too have asked me to send them a PDF of this, so we've got that sent out to them as well already.
And plus you were gonna put the flyer and ask them if they would hang it in their window, right?
Right.
At the businesses?
And the businesses,
So-
and Sweet Peas they're already gonna put the water tubes in every rose and have them ready for us. I'm gonna pick them up on Friday and bring them to the refrigerator, over at the pavilion on Friday.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
we'll have
it's
everything.
gonna be a nice event.
Yeah,
I think so. And just like Mary Lou had recommended on one of our meetings, about trying to bring the businesses into it, which I think is a great idea. So next year, we'll have a little bit more time, and we'll also see how this goes.
Yeah.
But go to them and say, hey, do you want to offer a Mother's Day special that day? And we will put a flyer out advertising that you have this, or give them a ticket and you go to this place and you have this much off your meal or whatever.
Or maybe they want.
Just to kind of get some ownership with the businesses here, I think it'd be a nice connection.
We couldn't pull that off this time.
It just,
But
yeah, it's
for
it
just
was,
lack of time,
Yeah.
but I think
It's
in
a
the
great
future-
idea.
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question, how do y'all feel about inviting the RV park?
have a, doing what?
Inviting the RV park?
100%.
100%.
I have
Yes.
a lot of joy down the road from me.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't mind, you know, if you have brochures together or what you want me to take to them.
I think that's a great idea, Marilee, because there's a lot of people who
There's a
just
lot of
are there,
mothers that are
correct?
That's great, and they're the very people who could spread the word about our
Absolutely.
community.
there. Absolutely.
It's a great idea.
Okay, I'll help her pass things out.
Yay, that's great. So as soon as we get this revised,
Okay,
which should hopefully be at the end of this week,
okay.
I'll get with you, we'll get those printed out, and I'll get it.
I'll go by and see, you know, talk to them about, tell them what we're doing.
What you can't do is, if you want, to pass out some of these, just
Okay,
saying when
they
the
have
event is.
Yeah, they have a little community service board that you could post it on.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
I think they do also.
Well, I gave you one, right? So
Oh, okay,
you're good.
nice.
I gave you one, right? You can put
Yes,
it
I
out.
have one.
Okay,
I'll take that.
I'll leave a couple more for you, so I'm not leaving.
Great, that's a great idea. Okay, so any questions about the tour? It's gonna be exciting, be fun to see how it goes. I know, I'm kind of excited to see how it's gonna go. Okay, Carrie, any updates on your event coming up, or maybe a date potentially that you're thinking about?
Not
For
a
the kids at
specific
Keystone?
date, but I did reach out again to the elementary school because I hadn't heard back, and I got 5th and 6th grade teacher emails this time just to see if that would get a response. And I heard back from one of the teachers, and she said, "Just want you to know we're not ignoring you, but we're in the middle of getting ready for end of year testing and whatnot. And once everything calms down, someone will circle back to you and we'll organize."
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you think it's probably gonna be October?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that with the plaque workshop is November.
September.
September.
So I'm looking at the budget, so you'll be able to use new budget money
Oh, okay.
for that
Great.
in October.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps me because I know what she spent on this and then what I'll be able to spend on that
Okay.
event in September. So we should have new money by the time that rolls around. Perfect, okay. And then the thing with the wreaths, you know, what I'll be doing in the time being, because we're gonna do these Heritage Christmas wreaths, probably make them sometime in November for all the businesses. So I'll identify how many businesses there are. I'm gonna get some examples of what they look like and then start looking and searching for the items to make and make them all identical. And then we're gonna also look at a logo just like that, maybe cut out of wood or something, wood burned, whatever, to put in the middle of it so they will all be made identical. So we have like a little wreath making workshop to make all of them at one time and then place them on the businesses. But the first thing we would do would be to meet those businesses and ask them, do they want one? You know, and I'll keep track of whether or not they didn't want it or if they wanted it.
Mhm.
And then we'll know exactly how many to make and all that.
And is this something that we would ask for donations from them, or?
I hadn't really thought about doing that this year.
Mhm. Because that would be a new budget as well, but, so maybe it would be nice if they did do donations or whatnot, that maybe they could donate toward doing one for the historical homes. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just so in addition to the businesses, you know, we could have one for, you know, like maybe the homes that are on the walking tour,
Yeah.
you know, just for some consistency.
I've noticed that with the garden club, we used to say when we would be selling plants, you know, this one is $10 or these are 15. And we made a lot more money if we just said there was no price, just leave a donation. People would throw down 20s. And it was so much more effective to just open it up as a donation. There was no charge. People were a lot more generous.
So are you saying, offer them the wreath, or do you want one and we are accepting donations?
Well, you know, this is a city commission, and so we have to look to that perspective of, can we solicit for money?
You had better clear that with Lynn first, and she may have to clear it with the auditor, because, as you pointed out, we're a city commission versus a private organization. I would steer away from collecting money right now.
Yeah.
I know when we sold the Order Court, money was collected, it all went through the city. So.
We kind of got in that discussion, we talked about the little ornaments, remember? Charging for them?
Yeah, yes.
Remember that?
It gets real fuzzy.
Gets kind of fuzzy.
Well, I guess I would just say that, in addition, I think it's a great idea to incorporate the businesses and, you know, because they're part of the city as well. But in addition to that, it would be some nice congruency to have, you know, these wreaths on the historic homes as well.
Right.
And that way it's like a unified look, you know, cohesive.
We could just do the historic homes and not do the businesses for this first year. This first year we've done it, so I was just trying to figure out what's the
problem
biggest.
then with the historic homes is we have historic businesses.
Yeah.
And so then one business would get a wreath,
Right.
and
Yeah,
the
there's-
general public is not going to see that as, oh, it's a historic building. They're gonna say, well, why isn't this historic? Mallard's is a historic building, and why didn't we get one? And I just don't think that's,
Well, and I think we're thinking too, for consistency, the town gets so pretty during the holidays, the way they decorate it. You'd see the same thing as you roll into town, everybody has the same wreath hanging on the door. I mean, along with all the other stuff the city does.
Yeah.
Just for our first year, and then next year maybe we look at embellishing it bigger.
and the thing with some of the houses, like your home, it's
You can't see
very
it,
prominent, you'd never see the front door.
you don't see our.
My house, it's on the side, you would never see it, unless we hung it on the fence. You know, I mean, like,
Right,
you wouldn't see them on the homes.
yeah.
And some of the houses are, well, one of them's vacant. We thought anyway, we're riding
One
by.
of them has a blue tarp roof for 30
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, so, I mean, we see all kinds of stuff, it's rather, you know,
Just saying.
Yeah.
Deidre, I found a copy of your application for the plaque and the heads. It's sitting on the table right now. Brought it in.
oh, cool, thanks for doing that.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I was just kind of thinking of, you know, of a way to, like if we ever did a Christmas, because last year we had talked about doing a Christmas walking tour.
Yeah, we
conjunction with
did.
the parade.
Yep,
So, you know, moving forward, if we were gonna try and recreate that with the luminaries and all that you talked with, you know, it would be nice that
yes.
we could do wreaths as well, you know, that would match what
Right.
you're talking about for the business.
And I think we can evolve to that, I think. I think just for our first year, because I love the idea, but I think for simplicity for the first year, seeing how it goes. We know we're eventually gonna do an inside walking tour at some point,
Mhm.
and during probably the Christmas break. So I think as time goes, then we get more involved in that, on those homes, specifically the ones that may be an inside tour, for example,
Mhm.
where people are really gonna come up, and we're gonna have hopefully a group of folks. It's just kind of a building thing at this point, I think. And
And Nina and I found all these little holes as we were walking around, because we have, you know, the list of the homes that are gonna be on the tour, but we don't have current owners, we don't have their phone numbers, we don't have their emails. There's all these holes in the data that we really need.
Mhm.
It would be so much nicer if we could just send out a mass email to everyone that has a historic home and say, okay, we're doing a walking tour, just heads up. That way, we're not pounding the pavement out there at 85 degrees. knocking
Saturday,
on
it was pretty
doors.
hot.
Yeah.
Deidre, you can go to the Clay County Assessor's Office and get that.
Oh, I did
We've
that.
been
Oh,
digging
oh, yeah.
through, but it
We've-
takes time. I mean,
It's-
There's a lag, because it's tied into the tax bill.
Yes.
Years late.
Yeah, I mean, I literally took 3 documents to create one, 3 resources to create one document, because it was all over the place. I mean, it was weird. And so I'm still working to iron that out, and we are gonna iron it out. We're gonna identify who is plaqued and who is potentially plaqued, a goal, that property. And those people that are in that other list, and I have a copy of my spreadsheet that I just recently updated, but it still needs more work, is to really get to know those people who are not plaqued. So they feel part of this group here. Like we want them to feel part of us as a resource, right? start courting them, so we can get them excited about maybe getting their home plaqued. So it's gonna be a bit of a journey, but I mean, I think it's doable. My goal is to have everyone unplaqued. So we have to find a way to do that, and it starts with relationship building. I attended that one that we had the first year I was here, and I think we had, 4 or 5 people here. Vichy's presentation is about Clay County Historical Archives. How was Keystone created? It's a great presentation. It's an excellent thing that she did, but she doesn't really talk about perception. So perception and reality, a lot of folks think that it's the entire home, inside and out. So they're overwhelmed, especially if it's one that's really got a lot of work to do. And that's not the case. It's exterior. It's these 3 areas. So I'm going to do a presentation on that, showing them this is reality. This is what we're looking for. And we know resources that can help you in the area. Eventually, I'd like to see something happen. We were talking about this Saturday, us do almost something kind of like a home patio show thing where vendors locally come and set up, and maybe they rent a table, but it's like a Keystone style patio show. But it's people that are resources to homeowners here who can't go to Jacksonville, who can't go to Gainesville. But hey, it's great to know. I mean, yeah, we have ACE and we have our plumbers and our electricians, but I will tell you right now, I literally had to go to word of mouth to find out who to help us when we go to the kitchen.
ACE keeps a list of people that they suggest.
But see, I feel like it's kind of got to be like I went to word of mouth, and it went to Renee Stanley, who knows Taryn, whose best friend is Amy, and Amy dates Aaron. That's where it went. That is ridiculous. And then now I gave Aaron to Mary Lou, and to Kathy, and so. Having those relationships, like we'll call Bertie right up, and he comes out and works on whatever the AC. Dave knows who to call for the plumbing. And the thing is, it's relationships with those types of resources that you can depend on, and you know how to get a hold of them. You go see a mass of cards, you don't know where to start. I don't know where to start.
Well, one of the things, and Helen can attest to this, is that, as a real estate agent, we have a list of all of those resources. The problem that we were running into right now, and even for my own self in my own home, when I call, is that they only want the big jobs. They don't want to come out and do a teeny tiny piece of woodworking.
Yeah.
They want the big jobs, and
That's why you need Aaron.
Why.
Aaron doesn't want the big job.
But that's true. I'm sure you're finding as well. They want the new construction where they're plumbing the whole house, not samples, not do anything.
Right.
But with my old house, he's there every minute. But, just electricians.
Yeah.
They want to do the electrical for a whole new house. They don't want to come and fix one little outlet.
Yeah, it's been interesting, our journey as we've done this house, and Dave does a lot of stuff, and I do too. An example of my wall unit in the living room, which is period design. It looks just like it was original. And I didn't want somebody to come in and put Home Depot cabinets in there. I didn't want custom cabinets. I really wanted true craftsman style cabinetry built. And it only has to be 12 inches deep because that's the space I have. And so we were having the upstairs bathroom done by Till Tile in Stark, who has their own plumber they use in Gainesville. And he came to look at the plumbing, and he's talking. I said, by the way, I've had 4 people out here to look at custom cabinetry. 1 showed up, the other 3 never showed up for this thing in the wall unit in the living room. And I said, do you know anybody by chance in Gainesville or something like that? And he says, our sister company does that in Alachua. We have a whole custom design facility. We build everything. I'm like, what? So I reach out to this girl, Heather. She comes out, they stain the wood perfectly. The designer guy comes out, copies my banister going up our stairs, the wood cutout, the cutouts in all my stained glass windows, the panes match all the glass on the front of the cabinet. It looks literally like it's been there for 100 years. And it matched the stain perfect to the pine. But that's what it took me, 3 years to find that guy. It took him 6 months to build it, but it was exactly what I wanted.
You guys know Bruce Gibbs? He still works part-time at AC. Shelley's husband. Shelley's on staff.
Oh, yeah, I know who Bruce is.
Yeah, nice guy. And
Yep.
he was there, he's been there forever, was there, and he still you might ask Bruce through Shelley if he's got a list or some suggestions.
Yeah.
Because he would know where the bodies are buried. He would have called.
But I would think for these folks that are, you know, like we met the couple that's just repainted the stucco Spanish mission house that we were looking at. They're so nice. And, you know, I can imagine them just trying to figure out, okay, we got to do this, but this is something we can't do, you know. It happens. I mean, you know. Yeah, Kathy?
I
Having
want
nice
to just reverse back to a minute for the plaques that need to go on all, you want to go on all the houses that, I guess, meet the requirements. So, sorry, I'm going to go back to my IT days. Is there a requirement, like it has to be built in blah, blah, blah year, or something like that?
50 years old.
50 years old.
Mhm.
So I don't know, I mean, I know I used to it a lot in Jacksonville, but you could go on and you could filter out different things. But if you can't use what's available to the public, you could probably go to the appraiser's office and ask for a list. Now, they're not going to give you probably people's email address or phone numbers, different kind of privacy acts, but you could at least get their address, because that is public record, and then you could send out a letter.
Yeah.
That's just the thought as we're going through.
Yeah, we're aware that we could do that. That's a
Okay.
very labor-intensive
Well,
approach.
yeah.
I mean, just define them, I was trying to think about.
Yeah.
Well, we have a list.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that.
We do have a list of the historic homes. It's just that we don't have who the new owner is, and the only way to do that is to get on the
For
public record.
all of them.
But for all of them,
For all of them.
You want me to look it up?
all of them?
I mean, how much is?
Well, I can give you the list and you can go at it and see what you can find out. If you find anything new we can't
You can
find.
get their names, they're all right there.
You want
but
their names, okay, their current
Cell
names.
phone numbers and email is the key.
Yeah, that's the problem, and I don't know if that on
We-
public record.
It's
is gonna
not.
put
It's
that
not on
out.
public
It's
record.
not on public record. That's
Yeah.
what Nina's been researching.
That's why it's mean in the letter, if you would just email us at blah, blah, blah with this information.
Yeah.
A lot of people may not, but you have more than none.
Based on my little bit of campaigning experience, knocking on doors, talking to people, handing them something, so that when you leave, they've got a piece of paper they can refer to. That's the.
Plaques, or the ones that are on the walking tour anyway. But we have a lot that should be on the walking tour that are not plaqued, or, well, it should be on the walking tour, period, but they're not. So we got to figure out how to make sure they're included on that, even though they're not plaqued. It's kind of interesting. There's a lot of them. There's probably 37 homes.
You probably gonna want to pre-screen them just yourself, because.
Right.
Because some, if they've been remodeled to a point where they're not, don't look like they're.
Well, yeah. And I mean,
Well, then they
on the
no
list
longer
here.
meet the requirements.
Yeah, but don't make them go through the motions of applying and all that. Just like
I mean, well, this isn't my big list, but the ones in green are the ones that are in the brochure currently. And some of these are plaqued and some of them are not. So these guys, I have to confirm, and LaDonna just gave me the list of ones that she knew were plaqued. So I gotta go refresh this because I wanna filter out who isn't plaqued, because they are ones who are targets to come to the September meeting, workshop. Those are the ones that I really wanna court and get to know, because we want them to wanna become plaqued, which is to get their home exterior-wise ready and eligible for it. Get them engaged in the community, things like that. And it's gonna be, it'll take time. But this was gathered, and it's much bigger, it's almost 40 names, by property search, tax assessor, Clay County property search, appraiser's site, plus the list the city has. And I go in and I Google owners and names online, which you a lot of times can find a phone number and an email.
Find a lot there.
But it
There's a
takes
lot
time.
of
That
stuff.
part takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I just
There's
did
a
it for
lot
my
of
whole
different
class
stuff.
of 1971, which was a nightmare. So this list is going to get better, definitely, and certainly with
Well, we have
Christine's
this
knowledge, all these
list
gals,
also,
2
and
realtors,
it's
the knowledge of
pages.
everyone we have.
Email and phone numbers, right?
We would like to have email and phone numbers, at least phone number for sure, because some people may not even look at an email. But there's work to be done. I can send you all this list if you want to look at it, Kathy, and play around with it, so you can see what we're trying to work with. The more help we have, the better. I mean, well, look at it, right?
Good. If I can make a phone call.
Yeah, well, and I thought that was kind of the purpose of associate members, not only just their valuable input, but also like, all hands on deck.
Little thing, yeah.
Helping to facilitate.
Because people have different skills. I'm a real good sleuth on the internet. I can find out all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a funny story like you had, but, you know, it just takes time, you know, so.
So another place, people don't realize when they start in Facebook, at the beginning, they fill out all this information, and you can go through
Uh-huh.
and find their phone number. 'Cause
Yeah.
I looked at my own, and I went, oh, I don't want my phone number out there, I got rid of it. But people just don't realize it, so that's also.
Well, it's funny.
I'll look at them for you, I don't mind.
There's yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll
Okay.
send you my big spreadsheet.
I'll
You're
see
gonna
if I
go,
can
holy
find it.
crap.
Yep.
That's a big
The
spreadsheet.
bad guys can get your date of birth too, so
Yeah.
lie about your date of birth.
Let me make a note of that. I'll send those both to her, Meredith.
Don't give it real.
I get something.
I need to do that anyway.
Now, Steve, are you gonna be able to come on the 7th?
I
Will you be
don't know
there
why
as a
not.
volunteer?
I can do some
That would be
stuff.
great. And LaDonna, that would be
Most
excellent.
likely, yeah.
Yeah,
we can
that
do
would be good.
Yeah, be awesome.
Can we go back to this picture thing for a minute?
Yeah.
You're gonna email me the addresses, I'm gonna go to the lawyer report, convert to whatever I need to do. And if I
And you're
don't-
talking the ones that are to be added.
And if I don't find one, should I just go take some pictures and I'll work with Christina as far as,
Yes.
That'll be
that would
fun.
as far as
Great.
the aspect and all that stuff.
I'll do that
Yes.
today.
Okay.
Okay, of the 5 houses. Okay. To add to brochure. Yeah, I'll get that done this afternoon. Okay, great. Anything else you guys want to talk about? 4 minutes ahead, how about that? The next meeting is Tuesday the 17th at 10 o'clock. Are you guys all good with the time? I mean, even you guys, Mary Lou, and is it work for y'all? Okay? Okay. Everybody good? Okay. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. Got a lot done.
Yes.
All right. We're adjourned.